Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Mornings with Thomas George. And today's question is, should I hire a studio? So hiring a studio can be useful for a couple of reasons. The first one is the equipment and gear that you will get in the studio that you might not necessarily have at home. Of course, you can do a lot of the stuff in the box. You don't necessarily need an outboard compressor or outboard reverb, but it's really great just to use and get used to this outboard gear, because I do think a lot of people are kind of pushing outboard gear aside and just using VSTs, just using digital versions. But really, the outboard gear, it's just nicer to use, just to use the real thing. I don't know, I think it can sound quite similar using the VST, but the real thing, using an actual outboard piece of equipment, can be really nice. I personally love the compressors on SSL desks. They're awesome to use as well. And just having a nice studio can just really just push you and motivate you to actually work harder, because when you're in that closed environment, you've only got the studio for a few hours. You're going to make sure you use that time wisely. You're going to make sure you actually make some music, compared to being at home on your laptop. You can have a lot of excuses not to actually make your music. Oh, I'll check Facebook. Oh, I'll answer an email. I'll watch this YouTube video first. I'll do this, I'll do that. But if you have a designated time that you're paying for, you're going to make sure you make music in that time. There's going to be no messing around. There's going to be no checking Facebook Messenger. You're going to be making music during that time because you've paid for it and you've given that level of investment. And when you give that level of investment, your brain switches on and you're going to do it properly, or hopefully you should anyway. And the other reason why I think hiring a studio is great is it kind of gets you away from your house. It gets you away from your laptop. It makes you actually go somewhere and have a new environment. So you don't necessarily always have to have the same studio. Just go into a new environment to write music and kind of spark some new inspiration, spark some new ideas. If you can't afford a studio, because studios are quite expensive at times, just go anywhere, go somewhere else to write music. This could even be, I don't know, a coffee shop. This could be getting a Ryanair cheap flight to another country and staying in a cheap Airbnb. So just making music somewhere else, somewhere different, just for some new inspiration. Just walking around the city centre, get some inspiration in a new city, and then writing music. Just somewhere different, really, rather than staying in your house all the time, because you can get a little bit unproductive just staying in your house all the time and trying to write music. There's so many distractions that, hiring a studio or somewhere that's just different, somewhere that's different from where you normally write music, can be just a great igniter of inspiration, really. So that's kind of my answer for should you hire a studio. Yes, if you can afford it. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't take out loans. I wouldn't break the bank to hire a studio. It can be nice, it can be great, but it can be quite expensive. So if you're just starting out, I'd say just try and write music somewhere else now and again, just for something different, because getting in the routine can be good to kind of get the ball rolling, but at the same time, you don't want to be stuck in a rut. You don't want to be banging your head against the wall. But if you're purposely going somewhere specifically to write music, and you've invested either time, money, or energy to go to that place, you will be writing music. Your brain will be like, right, I need to step up. It's time to step up. It's music time. Rather than just in your bedroom on your laptop, you might not actually make as much music. I remember a band I used to play in quite a few years ago. We used to take all our equipment down to this little cottage in Cornwall in the middle of nowhere. There was no internet, there was no distractions, there was no phone, there was no phone signal. So we'd just go down there and write music for a week. We did that for a few years because it was good distraction. There was no one calling their girlfriend, there was no one like messing around on the internet. It was them and us going down to write music specifically. When we went down there, it took about 8 hours to drive down there, right the other side of the country. We would write music non-stop because we spent 8 hours going down there, lugging all our equipment down, and we'd write some of our best stuff down there because we've invested all that time, effort, energy. So it really forced us to actually step up and write music. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a studio. A studio is a nice place to go just because it's clean, it's slick, you feel professional in there, there's some nice equipment. So ideally you do want to go to a studio, but if you haven't got the funds to go to a studio at the moment, don't worry, just kind of go anywhere. Stay in a cheap hotel somewhere, but invest. Like invest either time, effort, energy, or money to go somewhere different. Go somewhere you wouldn't normally go. Don't just go, round the corner to your local bar. When I say go to a coffee shop, I mean physically go somewhere very, very, very far and specifically write music there, or somewhere difficult to go to. So you really invest the time, effort, energy, and that way, when it's time to write music, you will step up. You will make music. So yeah, that's my answer to should I hire a studio? Yes, if you can. If not, still invest time, effort, energy, going somewhere and doing something. So yeah, thank you for watching today's Coffee Morning with Thomas George. If you've got any comments, questions, feedback, leave it below. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.